Ask not what your razor can do for you. Ask what you can do for your razor. Hey, if you're a history... Hey, everybody. First of all, hello. If you're a history buff like I am, then you like to get inside the heads of historical figures, or just at least try to connect with them on a way that goes beyond reading about them in textbooks in school. You want to find out what was life like on a daily basis for someone that was as important to history as somebody like John F. Kennedy, President Kennedy. Because this is a shaving channel, I got to thinking one day, well, wait a minute, what kind of razor did JFK use? And I did a little research and came to find out that at least in the late 1930s and just before 1940, he used a Gillette new improved Traveler razor set, because it came up at auction a few years ago, and it had been in England since about 1940, when his dad, who had been the ambassador to England from 1938 to 1940, the whole family moved over to England. And so obviously JFK brought his set, which looks like this. He brought it with him, and he used it, and then he left it there. He forgot it. So it was sitting in a drawer for years. This is not his, by the way. This is a similar model. And they found it and went to auction, and that's what I found in my research. And so I was like, well, can I get one of those? Can I find one of those razors on eBay? And I just happened to find an almost nearly exact set to his. Now, this is not the fancy one like his was. His was the deluxe set. This is just the combination set. This cost $10 in 1921. His would have cost about $75 plus custom engraving. Take a look at some of the pictures of his and see how fancy the engraving was on his set. Now, wouldn't that be cool to get mine engraved like that, except with my own initials? That would be cool. So, if you want to learn a little bit about this kit, take a look. I just made a video, and let's take a look at what's inside this box, and then when we come back, we'll shave with it. So let's take a look at this razor set from 1921. This was the new improved razor, and this set right here was called the combination set. And it cost $10 at the time, and here's the price tag for it, $10. And in 1921, $10 was $142 in today's money. So, and this was not the most expensive set or the cheapest. Here's the cheapest one. This was the new improved razor, the $5 model right here, and it just came in a little box with a blade bank that is missing from this set, but it came with the razor and the blade bank in the little box. So this one cost $5. So that was what, a little over $70 for a razor. But this one was $10, so it was $142. And then if you bought one of these kits, the price went all the way up to the deluxe set. This is the combination set, so it's the least fancy. It went up to the deluxe set, which cost $75 in 1921, which is the equivalent of over $1,000 today. So can you imagine spending $1,000 on a razor set? That's what we're looking at here. And here are pieces of the box that this originally came in. This would have been the end of the box here. And this is all I have left. And it's got this, you can pause that if you want to read what it says on there. But yeah, an acceptance of these conditions, price $10. So that's kind of cool. I thought this was, when I looked at the eBay auction, I thought this was some sort of certificate, but it's actually the box, just in pieces there, and there's the end. Safety razor set, $10. All right, let's look at this. Let's open this thing up and see how beautiful it is. This thing really looks like it hasn't ever been used, or has been used very little. Get these bits of box out of here. Here's what it looks like. Look at that. Look at the shine. Isn't that pretty? Now, this was not the Traveler version like JFK's was, so this one didn't come with a mirror inside this. Now, I don't even think there's a spot for a mirror, but on the JFK one, you could slide a metal mirror into this section right here. And his says Traveler right there, and mine doesn't. So this was the budget model. And what we have here, of course, is the razor, which is the 1921 New Improved. And here's what it looks like. It's a beautiful razor. This one is so shiny. I mean, it looks like it hasn't ever been used, or very, very little. It's a 3-piece razor where you unscrew the bottom, and then the cap comes off. And it goes back in, screw it back together. That's a pretty good design, I think. It's good, it's solid. Kind of keeps everything there. Now I want to show you the difference between the New Improved, which was, you know, so exciting during its day, and the old one from 1918. So this was, you know, 3 years before. See how the head is a lot thicker on the New Improved, and it's got kind of a square, it's straight across there instead of curved. It's got a thicker handle to it. So that's the difference. This was the news. This was like the new iPhone of its day come out. Oh, have you heard about the Gillette New Improved? And here it was. And you could get, this came gold-plated like this one, or nickel-plated, which was cheaper than that. And then it came with 2 blade banks where you could keep extra blades. And it has the Gillette branding on top there. See the Gillette logo? And actually one of these has a couple of the blades still in it. So let's look at that. A couple of the blue Gillette blades. Now what you do is keep your fresh blades in one blade bank, such as this one. And then you put your used ones in the other one. So when you got back home, you could get rid of them, dispose of them. So here's the 2 vintage Gillette blue blades that were in this one when I bought it. See, there's old King Gillette, and all the manufacturing information on the back. There we go. So this one was actually, let's see which one. One of these is open, so yeah, here it is. This one is open. I'll show you what it looks like inside. Show you what the blade looks like. I don't think I'll use these blades right now. Not for this shave, I won't. But I might use it eventually, because there are still a million of these blades out there. It's incredible. So there's what the Gillette blue blade. The actual steel is like a blued steel. That's why they call it, I assume, the blue blade. I did a lot of research, but I forgot to research that bit. Why do they call it a blue blade? I'm assuming because the actual steel of the blade is blue. So there's the 2 blade banks. I'm gonna go ahead and put these back in here. And so you got the razor, the blade banks, which are kind of cool. They look like little tiny Zippo lighters. And then you have these 2 tubes in here. Let me move this over here. And you got the 2 tubes. One of them has got a tiny little travel brush in it. Now this is not the one that has a travel brush. This one is actually for your stick soap right here. I'm trying to move these. I'm like doing this little shuffling game. All right, so this one is for, you would get a stick of, hey, there I am, hi, of shaving soap and put it in here. Now it's got little holes on the top, so I thought at first that it was like for powder. Oh, there I am. But it's actually just to let the shaving soap dry out. And there's the inside. And the bottom of this one, the reason you can tell it's for shaving soap is because you can push the bottom out and push the stick up as you're shaving. It's got a little insert right there where you would set. And this one, see, you can tell there's a little bit of what looks to be soap scum or something. So this was used, just not very much. So I'm going to put that back in there. And when I get, hopefully when I get my Arco soap, I'll try it out, stick it in there. And then this one's so great. This one has the little travel shaving brush inside. It's so cute. Let me show you the inside. It's just like purple felt and like a little bit of silk up here, which is why it's kind of showing its age. So this one, look at this little brush inside here. This is the coolest thing. It's got a little teeny Gillette brush. Look at this thing. It's so cute. It's tiny. And it says Gillette on it. And it's made out of boar's hair. So it's rough. Oh, it's shedding. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't think I can. There we go. Rubber set. Trademark on the bottom. Look at that. It's really shedding. This boar died a long time ago. But there it is. Look at that little. I'm going to show you the size of it compared to the razor. Isn't that cute? My goodness. That's a tiny little brush that I can't use because I'm sure it would fall apart. So I'll just keep it back in there. Get it back in there, boy. And then that's it. So that is the 1921 new improved razor combination set that you could have purchased for $10 back in the day. So it's an investment. It's an investment. So there you go. Let's see how this thing shaves and see what it's like to shave the way JFK used to. So I couldn't believe that I found a set that was nearly exact to his, but I did, and so I snapped it up, and here it is. So let's open this thing up and get the razor out. I'm not going to use any of the other accoutrements inside because I've got blades, I've got shaving soap. I'm just going to use the razor today. Look at that thing. It's beautiful. Beautiful! I'm going to put this over here to the side so it doesn't get wet. So this is 1921. Its serial number is 358-769A. So it was the first year that they manufactured this one. And whoever got this got a nice gift and didn't seem to want to use it very much, maybe because it was too fancy. It's like going to your grandma's house and you can't sit on the furniture. Don't sit on the living room furniture. It's too nice. So yeah. So let's shave. What did he, you know, I couldn't find out what kind of shaving soap JFK would have used, but I decided, well, I'm just going to use some shaving soap because it's all about the razor today. I know the shaving soap has a big thing to do with it. We're going to use the old margaritas in the Arctic. Margaritas in the Arctic, the same thing that JFK would have used. And the brush that JFK would have used. I can't use the little vintage one because it'll just fall apart, I'm sure, and I want to keep it intact. So we're going to use the West Coast Shaving Synthetic Brush. And then I'll show you the aftershave afterwards. It's not the type that JFK would have used or did use, but he could have because it was around when he was around. All right. I took a shower, did my hair, splashing some water on my face. I've been very lazy in my shaving recently. Like yesterday I did like a quick one pass, and the day before I think I did a electric razor pass. So it'll be nice to actually do a real shave today. All right, let's unscrew the bottom of this. See, that thing slides out. See, it's kind of hollow. You could shoot spit wads with that thing. And then you take the cap off like that. And the serial number is right there. It was very hard to read that because it's so small. I'm going to use some feather blades today so that, you know, it's a blade that I know that I use a lot, so I'm familiar with it. And let's see how it shaves. Now, with that other little set, the $5 set that I showed you, I did shave with that razor when I first got it, before I got this set. So I do know how it works, how it shaves. I know how this razor shaves, but I want to show you and tell you about it as I'm doing it. So you place the blade right there. Place this down on top, and then you hold it in place. Be careful not to cut yourself. Start screwing the cap down, and then hold it by the handle and tighten it as much as you can. Make sure the blade is lined up on both sides. Seems to be. I'm going to unscrew it and see if, I don't think there's any other way I could adjust it except maybe adjust the blade just a little bit so that it's as even as I can get it. And tighten it down. All right, that looks close enough. Okay, we got the blade loaded in. Time to lather up with margaritas in the Arctic. There was the bell, there's the bell. That was my ring hitting the faucets. All right, margaritas in the Arctic. I love this stuff. I don't use it enough, but I'm gonna use it today. I wonder who either purchased or was given this combination set that I have right here. That's what I want to know. It's a beautiful set. It would have been a great gift back then. You know, and a fairly hefty price tag, you know, $142. Now, it came out in 1921, this razor, so the Depression was about 8 years away. So people were kind of rolling in the dough in 1921. It was the roaring 20s. Prohibition was on, so people weren't drinking out in the open. But they were shaving, that's for sure. As I did my research on the new improved Gillette, Gillette made a huge deal about this razor coming out in 1921. They spent $2 million in marketing this new razor. $2 million in 1921 would have been a lot of money. There are pictures of displays of the razor and the kits in like Times Square and shop windows, and people were like standing around gawping at it. It's like that. I mean, it's crazy in this day and age. Just kind of like people lining up for the iPhone, right? Remember when they used to do that when the iPhone first came out? And honestly, in the 1920s, there wasn't a lot to do. You know, you could watch a movie, no TV. So I guess the introduction of a new fancy razor was something they all got excited about. It was a different era, folks. A very different era. All right, let's shave with this beautiful, shiny gold, new improved. Now, I did 2 shaves with the other razor, which were very good. It's not an aggressive razor, but it's not a mild razor. It seems to be a good balance of both. I actually prefer the thicker head to the old model Gillette, my 1918. That one just seems a bit too thin, but this one's got a little bit more heft to it, both in the handle and the head itself. And the 2 other times I shaved with the other razor, which is the exact same. Actually, the other one is from 1928, so this one's a little 7 years older. It shaved very well. Now, here's my question. So, John F. Kennedy was born in 1917. So when this razor was made, he was about 4 years old. This razor was sold until about 1929, and then they went on to, so this was the new improved razor. In 1929, they came out with the new razor, and it was a slightly different head, and it didn't have these 2 like bullet shapes coming out the bottom. So in 1929, JFK would have been about 12 years old. So that's about when you're going to start shaving. Now, I don't know what the serial number of JFK's razor was in that set that I showed you pictures of, but it is possible that his dad bought it for him when he was about 12 years old, knowing that he was going to be shaving soon, if he wasn't already. And Joe Kennedy, his father, also had this exact same razor. I'll show you a picture of that right now. So obviously Joe liked this kind of razor, and he said, oh, I'm going to get a nice fancy set for Jack. He probably bought it for all his boys. Well, for Joe Jr. and whoever else. And he spent, you know, $1,000 plus monogramming to get his 12-year-old son a nice razor set that he obviously kept with him till about 1940 when he left it in England. Probably forgot it. That was right before World War II was starting to break out. And that's the kind of riches we're talking about, the Kennedys. That's why, part of the reason why they're so fascinating is that what would it be like to have that kind of money that you could easily, without much thought, spend $1,000 on your 12-year-old son just for a razor set? It's just, it boggles the mind, really. I mean, they're a tragic, you know, tragic family, a successful family. It's like a Greek tragedy, you know, with all the deaths that they've endured. But yeah, that's why we're fascinated by them, I think. I think I first got fascinated by the Kennedys when I was looking into the JFK assassination, but as I get older, I get less conspiracy-minded, and I want to just know about the people, like what were they like. All right, there's the first pass. Very good. Very good. Still got a lot of whiskers. Like I said, it's not a real aggressive razor. Like my 1960 Fat Boy on 9 would have taken off more whiskers than this 1921. But I just love the fact that razors from 1921 and earlier and later are still perfectly good razors. It's fantastic. In fact, look at this ad right here where they talk about buying a razor, buying it once in a lifetime. They say it's like getting married or joining a fraternity. You should do it once and then never again. So that was the mindset. You buy one razor and you just keep it the rest of your life. Take a look at that ad. Isn't that something? So they were trying to make money on the blades, I guess, kind of like they do today. Sell the handle for cheap? Well, $1,000 not cheap. $142 isn't cheap. But then sell the blades and they just keep coming back and coming back. So interesting. I'm sure the advertisers today would steer clear of saying, buy it once and then never again. They want to keep coming out with new and improved razors all the time, right? I got one little nick right there, but that was left over from the past 2 shaves when I've shaved with the safety razor this week. I got a little nick and I keep getting the same spot. Like hasn't quite healed up perfectly. Yeah, this razor is easy to get under your nose, get those little whiskers right at the bottom of your nostrils. Which, if you have children, they'll be quick to point out if they notice them on your face. You've got hairs in your nose. Had that last night at bedtime, that's why I say that. Oh, kids, they say the darndest things. All right, let's go across the grain. Got another little nick on my chin there. I need to buy an Allen block because I've never tried one. I've got styptic pencils, but from what I understand, they're not at all the same. I tell you, I really love the design of this razor. I like the little diamond knurling on the handle. I like the shape of the head. The gold color is beautiful. And when you get the whole kit, man, it's just... I knew I wouldn't be able to find that many more kits in this day and age, in this condition. That's why I kind of snapped it up. And paid less than you would for a Rockwell. So, you know, for one of the higher end Rockwells, that entire kit costs less. But it's so beautiful. All right, there's the second pass. New and improved. All right. Oh man, this margarita in the Arctic, I cannot tell you how much I love it. I don't use it as much as I should. It's a great, Sterling puts out great soaps. And this is a great synthetic brush. I gotta tell you, I'm going synthetic all the way. I don't need natural. Normally I like natural things, you know, like normal, simple, natural things. But in this case, yeah, I'm sticking with synthetic. It's foolproof, and I am a fool, if nothing else. If I'm nothing, I'm a bit of a fool. All right, third pass with the JFK razor. I wonder if they'd let me, whoever owns that razor set now, I think it's a really eccentric Kennedy collector. I wonder if he'd let me actually shave with his razor. Now, after JFK left this set in England, he purchased another set of the next model, like in the 1930s, or sorry, it was like I think the handle was from either the 30s or the early 40s, but then it has a different head on it. So take a look at that set right here. So it's very similar, but the razor's different. It's a different style, but I guess he liked that compact travel, you know, shaving kit sort of form factor, so he got another one to replace the one he left in England. I wonder if he even remembered where the heck he left the thing. And I also then wonder, because I didn't see anything beyond those 2 kits that would indicate that he later switched to a more modern style razor, you know, in the 1950s or 60s. I didn't see anything like that. I don't know if I just missed it in my exhaustive research. Exhaustive meaning I took about an hour to look it up on the internet. But it'd be interesting to see if he, you know, switched over to a more modern razor, or if he kept, you know, there's no real reason. You know, if you find a good razor, there's no reason to own more. But it's kind of like guitars. You find, you know, you got an acoustic guitar, you got an electric guitar. You don't really need another one. Just like you don't need another razor. It's doing the job, but you just kind of want one. You want to see what it's like to try those different kinds and see what mood you're in that day. So I bet back then, though, it was, you know, modern day, we're kind of like, you know, this consumerist, we buy everything, we're buying, constantly buying. But back then it was a bit more, you know, low key, like, all right, we got it, we're good, this is good, we got it. He forgot this one, he left it in England, get another one. Keep that one till the end. All right. I got a little bit, it's always the sideways, always down here. So what I'm gonna do is 3.5 past. I don't think JFK would have done this. Who am I to say? There are many people that know the Kennedys much more in depth than I do. But I don't think he would have done 3.5 passes. But who knows? Maybe he was a thorough man who enjoyed a close shave. Like yours truly. I don't know. So let's try this out. I wonder what razor and what shaving supplies JFK used the morning of his assassination. Wouldn't that be interesting? I'm sure that his personal valet would know, but I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing that's been brought out or not. But it'd be interesting to find out. Ooh, that did well. I got a couple little nicks right there, but that did well shaving sideways down here on my neck. This is a really good razor, man. This is a really good quality, good feeling, good looking razor. It's got it where it counts. I'm going very lightly now on this pretty much 4th pass. This is unprecedented, but this is a special video. There's more photographs and research than I've ever done for anything. This is way out of my comfort level. I normally like to just wing it, but I thought this deserved a little bit extra research. For you, the viewer. I'm getting just the last little bits without over shaving. Yeah, this is a maneuverable razor. So if you can, you know, you can find them on eBay. You don't necessarily need to buy the whole, you know, fancy kit. They sell these. People have them for sale on eBay, and some of them for reasonable prices. Woo, that's cold. Oh, I like that. Whew. So I would recommend, if you can get one for about 30 bucks, just the razor, don't worry about the cases or the blade banks. Just get a decent, you know, razor, new improved razor from 1921 to 29, and give it a try. It's good. It's a good one. It's got a good amount of aggressiveness without being too aggressive. It's not too mild. It does the job, and it looks good. And I love that design. I love that you unscrew the bottom, and I know there are a couple of modern razors that have that same thing where you unscrew that and take the top off. I prefer that rather than trying to twist the head on, because then there's less chance of cutting yourself. There we go. John F. Kennedy. Shave like JFK. That's what it's like. Okay, so dry my face. I'd give myself a few slaps just to stop the bleeding if there is any. It's penance for my sins, you see. And what I did today, I was at the dollar store looking for the Barbasol aftershave that people say is out there, but I still haven't seen it. I didn't see it today. But what I did find was this stuff that I've seen forever. Florida Water Cologne. Have you seen this stuff in this cool old-fashioned bottle? Look at this. Florida Water Cologne. Now this stuff, I looked it up. This has been manufactured in the USA since 1808. And they say it's the original formula. So it's made by Murray and Landman, Florida Water Cologne. And it's made in the US. It's named for the fountain of youth, Florida water. So I don't know what this stuff smells like. So let's try it out. So the top has got that, like, it's almost like a Worcestershire sauce bottle. All right, let's see what it smells like. I was gonna say let's see what it tastes like, but let's not do that. Oh, it's got it's like spicy and a little bit of, like a lemon scent. Ouch. Ooh. Ooh, interesting. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, it's kind of like, yeah, it's got some lemony citrus, but also almost kind of like some bay rum spice. That is some good stuff. And it was, I think it cost $3 at the dollar store, which is kind of expensive at the dollar store. I mean, really, isn't it supposed to be $1? I went to the Dollar General, so that's the high-end dollar store here in the U.S. I know in the U.K. you've got Poundland and some other places. That's interesting. It's a little bit sticky though. It's kind of leaving kind of a stickiness on my cheeks. But I like the scent. It's like slightly floral, slightly spicy, slightly citrusy. Florida water. Isn't that something? So this was not JFK's cologne or aftershave. He preferred a couple different brands throughout his life. One was Creed Vetiver, and one was Caswell Massey's Jockey Club. But since this has been around since 1808, I figured I should try that out. It's good. Not sure about the stickiness, but it's not an overpowering scent. You know, it's not going to last with me all day, and my wife probably won't complain if she gets too close to me and smells me. Don't get too close to your husband. But yeah, I'm kind of just keep kind of feeling my face. That is a baby smooth shave with an old beautiful razor kit. Look at that thing. I mean, that's beautiful. So there you go. I guess that's it. If you want to do some more research on your own, find out more about JFK and his shaving habits, or the shaving habits of any other presidents or historical figures, the internet is a great place to do it. But thanks for joining me, everybody. This is really an interesting and fun one. I love history. I love shaving with vintage razors, and I love the fact that you guys like to join me on these little shaving adventures, if you will. It's a dumb term. Let's not say that again. All right. So everybody have a good weekend. And I'll see you again on Monday with a boring shave with a plastic throwaway razor. Not really. See ya.